Today is Wednesday, September 28th. What to expect from Hurricane Ian today, as Florida is already feeling its impact and bracing for more, while Cuba deals with an island-wide blackout. Also, was it Russia? What or who damaged two major gas pipelines? Plus, what a new study found about the COVID vaccine and changes to menstrual cycles. Why Shakira could face prison time. And which Marvel character will make an unexpected comeback. Those stories and more next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Hurricane Ian is expected to make landfall in Florida today, and it's expected to be historic. Tampa and Fort Myers could take a direct hit for the first time in 100 years, and the entire Florida peninsula is under either a hurricane or tropical storm warning. Some areas are already dealing with tropical storm conditions now. More than 2 million people in Florida are under evacuation orders. Well, this storm is dangerous in many different ways. Already, the outer bands of the hurricane have caused multiple tornadoes last night. And today, state officials are warning 12-foot storm surges could wash away cars, homes, and anyone in the way. Weather experts say the flooding could be catastrophic, too. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is urging residents to be cautious and to leave if they're in an evacuation area. Despite warnings, though, a number of Floridians have stocked up on supplies and are choosing to ride out the storm in their homes. Thousands of National Guard members have been deployed for potential rescues and help. Before moving on to Florida, Ian made landfall in southwestern Cuba yesterday as a major hurricane. And now there's an island-wide blackout, meaning all 11 million plus people were without power. Cuban officials say their entire power grid collapsed, but that they are working to gradually restore service to the country. Some world leaders are blaming sabotage for big leaks in two major natural gas pipelines running from Russia to Germany. Some European officials say large explosions underwater in the Baltic Sea and the sudden leaks in not one, but two major pipelines on the same day means it was most likely deliberate. Ukrainian and Polish leaders are already blaming Russia. American officials, though, are not weighing in yet on who or what might be responsible. Russian state media is claiming U.S. or Ukrainian involvement. We're talking about the two Nord Stream pipelines that are crucial for delivering Russian natural gas to Germany. Though neither was operating when this happened. Russia closed one pipeline weeks ago, citing maintenance concerns, though some in Europe accuse Russia of holding their gas hostage until countries meet their demands for the war. The other newer pipeline was never operational since Germany canceled plans for it after Russia invaded Ukraine. So there are no immediate impacts to Europe from this, but as winter approaches and temperatures get colder, a lack of heating gas could cause problems for millions of European citizens. The White House says it's aiming to eliminate hunger in the U.S. by 2030. As President Biden put it, quote, "The consequences of food insecurity and diet-related diseases are significant, far-reaching, and disproportionately impact historically underserved communities." So there's a new proposal to expand benefits to lower-income Americans to be able to buy food. Under Biden's plan, more children, for example, would qualify to get better access to free meals. But key parts of this are not something Biden could do on his own. He would need Congress to get on board. And with midterm elections right around the corner, it's not clear at this point if this will gain enough traction anytime soon. Also, skeptics say Biden's long-term plan to end America's hunger in less than a decade is unrealistic, especially with inflation and the rising cost of food right now. Regardless, this week, the president is hosting a conference on food assistance programs, the first by the White House in more than 50 years. Richard Nixon was the last president to hold a major conference on hunger and nutrition, and Nixon's work led to the expansion of food stamps for those in need. Thousands of Virginia high school students from across the state walked out of class to protest new potential policies. Students are upset with Governor Glenn Youngkin's proposals that would roll back certain protections for transgender students in public schools. The governor's latest draft policies would restrict which restroom transgender students are allowed to use, and require students' parents to give their consent to their child changing their name or pronouns at school. So in an act of defiance, students from more than 100 different schools in the state held a walkout. In a statement, though, Governor Youngkin's office said Virginia schools will be allowed to accommodate requests from children and their families, but only when parents are part of the process. A public comment period on these new proposed policies in Virginia is underway now and lasts for about a month. A new study is showing there may be another side effect to the COVID-19 vaccines, a change in menstrual cycles. Researchers looked at about 20,000 women from the US, the UK, and Canada, and included those who got the vaccine and those who did not. It found that after getting the shot, many women experienced about a 1-day delay in getting their period, though most people's periods went back to normal within one cycle. Experts say there's no indication it would affect fertility since it's so temporary. The study came about in part because of women posting on social media that they noticed a change after getting their vaccine. The main researcher said she hopes the study will give people more information about what to expect. It's not clear yet exactly how the COVID vaccine prompts these changes, but health experts say some people are more sensitive to immune system changes in the body. And some say the COVID infection itself has the potential to have more long-lasting and serious side effects. The National Institutes of Health has funded at least 4 other research projects around COVID vaccines and menstruation with the goal of providing better information and increasing trust. All right, we have much more news for you still ahead, but first, a quick break for our sponsor, BetterHelp. There are times I catch myself getting frustrated at a situation, whether it's part of parenting or running a business. But just like I want to teach my son to do, I do best when I take a deep breath and keep a more positive problem-solving mindset, no matter what it is I'm facing, big or small. And I've learned a therapist can really help me keep the mindset I want to have, making it easier to not only accomplish my goals, but to also enjoy the process of getting there. And that's what it's really all about, isn't it? I personally think everyone should give therapy a try, and BetterHelp is a convenient, accessible, affordable way to get started with it. It's entirely online. You just fill out a brief survey and then get matched with a therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime until you find the right one for you. When you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/newsworthy today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/newsworthy. There are new promising results for an experimental Alzheimer's drug. It's said to be able to slow cognitive and functional decline by 27% for patients in the early stage of the disease. Stat News reports the results are from the largest study to date to test the long-debated theory that clearing toxic brain plaques might slow the pace of Alzheimer's or delay the onset of dementia. Japanese drug maker Eisai and its American partner Biogen have already applied for FDA approval for this drug called lecanemab, and it could get the green light by early next year. Stay tuned. If you thought spam calls were bad, the number of spam text messages going out to Americans is even higher. A spam blocking app called RoboKiller estimates that 66 billion robo-texts have been sent so far this year, resulting in tens of billions of dollars lost to scammers. So for the first time, the Federal Communications Commission, or FCC, has approved a plan to do something about it. The FCC is looking for public comment right now. For example, they want your take on requiring cell phone companies to block illegal texts before they reach cell phones. But it could take months for the FCC to review all the feedback and then actually write up the final rules. For now, though, you can copy a spam message and forward it to the number 7726. The industry uses that to identify and block messages. World-famous singer Shakira is facing possible jail time for tax fraud. Prosecutors in Spain accuse Shakira of failing to pay nearly $14 million in taxes. In addition to a very large fine, if she's found guilty, she could face up to 8 years in prison. Prosecutors say she spent more than half of her time from 2012 to 2014 in Spain, so she should have to pay taxes in the country. Shakira, though, has repeatedly said she did nothing wrong, and her team says she has already paid all of the taxes she owed, plus an additional $3 million in interest. The trial date has not yet been set. Also dealing with legal troubles in the entertainment industry, 3 former executives of the movie ticket service MoviePass. The SEC is suing them. Federal regulators say MoviePass executives lied to them and to the public, first about how they plan to use MoviePass to make money. And they say the second lie was to users. You may remember people who bought a MoviePass subscription were supposed to be able to go see as many movies as they wanted in the theaters for just $9.95 a month. Well, it turns out users were going to see a lot of movies, which was costing the company a lot more money than it was making. So MoviePass started limiting the number of movies users could see. In 2020, MoviePass declared bankruptcy. MoviePass is now working on a comeback, though. It's testing out different subscription models in different cities. No word yet on when it'll be available to everyone once again. Speaking of movies, there are new details about one of the most anticipated movies of 2024. The trailer video grabbed tens of millions of views in just a few hours yesterday. In the video, Ryan Reynolds announced he's not only back for Deadpool 3, but that he's bringing along Hugh Jackman to play Wolverine. And that comes as a bit of a surprise considering Jackman has said many times he's done with the X-Men character after playing him in Logan in 2016. Obviously, not much is known yet about the upcoming Disney Marvel film, but the Deadpool films are the top-grossing X-Men movies of all time, bringing in more than $500 million worldwide. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Work Wednesday, when we break down one interesting career or work-related news story every Wednesday. But first, a quick message from our sponsor, Rothys. By now, you know I'm a big fan of Rothys shoes, and that People magazine even named Rothys The Point the best flat for its 2021 Style Awards. But did you also know that Rothys has all different types of styles, from sneakers and loafers to ankle boots and more? And no matter what you buy, everything Rothys makes helps the planet. They've repurposed millions of single-use plastic bottles into their signature thread that goes into every single one of their products. I don't know how they do it, but every pair of Rothys shoes I've gotten is everything I want it to be: comfortable, durable, stylish, and sustainable. I appreciate every time I pull their shoes out of the box, and they immediately feel comfortable and ready to wear all day long. Step up your shoes and accessories and get ready to be asked, are those Rothys? Plus, get $20 off your first purchase at rothys.com/newsworthy. That's ROTHYS, rothys.com/newsworthy. Well, now back to Work Wednesday. Now that summer is officially over, more and more companies are telling workers to return to the office. Recent data from the company Castle Systems, which tracks security swipes into buildings, looked at 10 major metros in the U.S., and it found workers are back in the office at the highest rate since the pandemic started. The Wall Street Journal reports there are other signs of employees heading back into work since Labor Day as well, like more people riding New York public transportation. Still, office use on average was about half of what it was in early 2020. Some companies are offering perks to try and get people to come back in more, like free food or gift cards, but it still might not be enough. Surveys have shown a majority of workers prefer the ability to work from home, even if it's hybrid. And really, a lot of the workers who are returning to the office are doing so with a hybrid model. So working in the office sometimes and working remotely other times. Experts say office life may never look quite like it did before the pandemic. Well, thank you so much for joining us today as part of your daily routine. We'll catch you up on more news to know tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.